Motion.
The yaw is back out. Here comes 10 centimeters station forward.
And stop motion.
Stopping motion there. And then you're ready for your 20 centimeters port.
Ready for the port.
Starting your port motion.
Motion.
And motion stops. How's that look?
Looking out clear. I'll take station aft again. Give me another 10 centimeters there.
Okay, another 10 centimeters station aft. Moving.
Good copy. Good motion. Stop motion.
Okay, stopping motion.
Waiting for brakes on.
Brakes are on. Confirm GCA complete.
GCA complete.
Drew, are you back with us?
Yeah, Caleb, we're back. We're waiting for the GCA complete. I have PGT settings for you when you're ready.
I already have Bravo 4 counterclockwise 2 set, and I'm in position to drive on your go.
Okay, we'll go for that. You're on the low gain antenna side, the side that we were expecting. 11 to 19 turns on the PGT, if you're counting at the PGT. And then just let us know whether you're working the forward or the aft.
11 to 19 with the PGT, and I'll start with the forward.
Copy.
Drew, I'm waking up my PGT. It looks like all bolts are in place. Ready to be torqued.
Okay, Tom, your settings are Alpha 5 clockwise 2.
Alpha 5 clockwise 2.
Barron reporting out that she's ready to work on the release of 2 launch bolts connected to the spare SASA. You can see her now working with the pistol grip tool.
I'm just going to put down my end effector to keep me a little closer to structure here and then try. Bolts.
Sounds like a great plan.
The pistol grip tool, or PGT, is basically a cordless drill.
Hey, Drew, I'm ready for the settings again, please.
Alpha 5 clockwise 2, you're driving, and it'll only be 3 turns.
Alpha 5 clockwise 2.
All right, that's a good read back, and we're going to do these in order 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're starting at the bolt on your right side towards your head. 3 turns will take torque, turns, and light.
Copy, understand.
Marshburn is working to install gimbal locks that give the spacewalkers a little more control of the degraded unit in its move from P1 and over to the Express Logistics Carrier number 3. It just means that the communications antenna won't make any sudden unpredicted moves.
Drew, I'm at 19 turns. I want to confirm whether you expect it to spring out when released.
Kayla, yes, we are expecting that it would spring out.
I don't think it has yet. Do you have a go to put a few more turns on it?
Yeah, Kayla, you can go ahead and keep driving.
Roger.
Drew, I got 2.5 turns to torque. Green light on bolt number 1. For bolt number 2.
Copy that, Tom, on bolt number 1, and then you're moving over to bolt 2.
Left shoulder. Copy.
And Drew, the forward bolt has sprung out. That was 25 turns total, starting with the aft.
Good words, and understand you're moving over to the aft.
Drew, I got 2.1 turns, 2.2 turns, and torque to 2.3. One for the left knee, bolt 3.
And Tom, it happened on the bolt number 1. We didn't hear the torque on that, but we did hear that your turn's in green light on bolt number 1, the first one you did.
It was 2.5. It was to programmed.
Copy that, 2.5.
Copy.
Stand by, Tom.
Anybody?
Tom, we're going to have you double check PGT settings and just read back what you see.
I see. It was at an Alpha 1. Thought I had an Alpha 2. Over to Alpha 2. Starting back with bolt 1.
Tom, we're expecting
The
Alpha
F1
5.
bolt.
Alpha 5 for you, Tom.
5. I missed that. Copy, thanks. Alpha 5.
Tom Marshburn now getting his pistol grip tool configured to drive 4 total gimbal locks. Again, this helps control the motion of the faulty Sassen unit.
That one took 23 turns, 2-3. And wondering if you think I should work a socket swap and head back to Tom, or head to view the launch bolts on the other side.
Copy, Kayla. We're checking. One thing that we needed to go back on is, and during the handover, we missed your hat and glove. Just confirm that those were both good. We assume they were.
Yep. Hat is dry, glove check is good.
Okay, Kayla, and just give us a moment here. We're talking next steps for you.
Roger.
Andrew, I've got 3.1 and 6.8 on the torque. Green light for bolt 1.
Copy that, Tom. We got 6.8 that time and a green light bolt 1, and so we'll be on to bolt 2. That's a good bolt on bolt 1.
On to bolt 2.
Tom Marshburn confirms that he's finished driving the first of 4 gimbal lock bolts.
And Kayla, for you, we'll just have you go ahead and remove the ERAD from go back to your socket swap, go back to your original socket setup, and then we're going to have you head over to see Tom. When you come off of ELC, we do want to make sure that we get a check of your safer handles.
Okay, that's all in work.
Drew, I've got green light 6.8 and 1 turn on bolt 2.
Copy that, Tom.
Marshburn confirms that he has the second of 4 gimbal lock bolts driven. Meanwhile, Kayla Barron worked with Ground IV Drew Morgan to get her tools configured, and she'll start making her way over to the P1 truss with Tom Marshburn shortly.
Bolting down, I got 2 more bolts to go.
Roger, and I'm just working on my socket swap, and then I'll head back your way.
Copy.
ERAD's on the socket caddy with a good pull test, working the wobble.
Drew, green light 7 and 1.2 turns. Bolt 3.
Copy that, Tom. Copy, Kayla.
On bolt 4.
We're good on bolt 3, so we're ready for 4. Right side toward your boot.
Okay. And that bolt is not all the way in the slot. It's stuck about halfway. Been working that one. I'm going to go and torque it down halfway there if you're all right with that.
Checking.
Fixed. Doesn't come out easily. Doesn't come out at all. And also now it's not going in. I think it jogged its way out a little bit with the other bolts. So I can see a slight gap in the slot between the bolt head and the septum, but still wedged in the slot.
Copy, checking. Tom, we're going to hold there for a moment and just talk about this and decide whether we're going to try to drive this one down at all. And guys, the last we checked, we were about 20 minutes ahead of the timeline, and our limiting consumable at that point was MEDOX, 640 EVA.
Roger. And Drew, I got the wobble socket back on my PGT with a good pull test. Both of my safer handles are down, and I'm going to start heading back towards Tom.
Sounds great, Kayla.
Good job, Kayla. Thanks for your time. We were talking about this last bolt a little bit.
Alva?
Yeah, Kayla, absolutely great that we are doing very well on time right now.
Roger.
Tom, we wanted to have you check with bolt 4 if you were able to back that bolt off by hand one turn.
Give it a try. Oh, the bolt head itself.
Affirmative.
Work. It is. The glove is just slipping over it. I got a little bit of motion out of it there. There's still my PGT and play with it here.
If you're just joining us, we're just over 1 hour into the planned 6.5-hour spacewalk with NASA astronauts Kayla Barron and Tom Marshburn. Marshburn spent the first portion of the hour configuring the robotic arm that he took to the P1 work site where the degraded SASA lives. Meanwhile, Kayla Barron worked at the Express Logistics Carrier number 3 to do some prep work on the spare SASA. She worked diligently and got some tasks done ahead of time. Marshburn is in process of installing 4 gimbal locks to reduce the motion of the degraded SASA.
Motion of the bolt itself fills the sort of halfway point, half engaged. The nut below the bolt head does freely.
We copy, Tom. We're still talking about it a little bit.
Jiggle, the septum really doesn't jiggle anymore if the other bolt's engaged. I believe when I was working bolts 2 and 3, bolt 4 walked out just a half of bolt head width diameter.
Yeah, we copy, Tom. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have you reset your PGT to alpha 1 clockwise 2, lower setting, and then we're going to have you drive on that.
Alpha, you say again, setting? You said alpha 2?
Alpha 1, clockwise 2.
Alpha 1. Alpha 1, clockwise 2.
I am passing the UHF antenna.
Copy, Kayla?
Clockwise 2. 2.5 on the torque green light and 2.5 turns, 2.3 turns.
Okay, Tom, with that, we're calling those 4 good gimbal bolts. You can stow your PGT, and then you can work with the arm to maneuver to the P1 retrieval back-off position. And before we do that, I just wanted to let Kayla know that once you get there, Kayla, you can start to work those electrical connectors, P2, P3, and P4, and give us the words on the backside.
Roger, that's in work now. I tell them what's to come.
All right, thanks. And Matthias and Raj are ready for the maneuver to the back-off position. My tools and tethers are clear.
Copy, brakes are off, and copy, you're ready for the maneuver to the P1 retrieval back-off position. It's going to be mostly ISS forward and port motion, and we'll also take out a little bit of what we did on some of that GCA. I'll let you know when we're ready to start.
Copy. That's a good copy for me.
Marshburn reported out that all 4 gimbal locks have been installed to reduce the motion of the degraded SASA as they both work to move it to the ELC-3 shortly. Barron is still making her way over to the P1 site to help Marshburn remove the degraded SASA, and Marshburn is working with the crew aboard the space station to get into the right configuration to do this.
Starting ISS forward motion, about 1.5 meters.
Copy. I see good motion.
Centimeters. All right, here comes port motion.
See good motion.
And centimeters. There was a little bit of nadir motion.
Good motion.
Okay, that's the position. We're going to set up for a joint OCAS. Take us a little bit, and it'll be about a 4.5 minute move.
Okay, Tom, before we do that next maneuver. Go ahead, Kayla.
Roger. All 3 of the NZGLs are demated, levers full aft over center. And for all 3, no FOD, no butt pins, and good EMI bands. I'm assessing now whether I need to wire tie or adjustable them out of the way.
Copy that, Kayla. It sounds like those are good checks. And then once you assess whether or not you need to wire tie, then we'll have you move towards the BRT handrail 3618. And Tom, for you, before we do this next maneuver, we got a little checklist of things we wanted to run through with you when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. Tom, we're going to have you check your tools and tethers are clear, and your ingress aid is stowed, pulled close to your body. Probably keep your visor up because it's going to be nighttime for a couple more minutes, and then check your glove heaters.
Okay, good call on the glove heaters. My tools and tethers are clear. And the ingress aid is pulled towards me. And the visor's in a good position.
Okay, set your cooling if you need to, and then verify your heels are secured. Think heels out this entire time. Then a glove and hat for us.
Cap is dry. And gloves are still pristine. Happy on the cooling, I'm good.
Fun bit of history here. Back in 2007, Expedition 16 astronaut Rick Mastracchio and Clay Anderson relocated the S-band antenna subassembly from P6 to P1, where the astronauts are working now.
Thomas, been mostly taken you aft and then zenith.
Good motion.
Back in 2007, Mastracchio and Anderson reported having the same difficulty that Tom Marshburn had with that 4th bolt.
Hey, Kayla, while the arm is flying, we can give you PGT.
Correct. Yeah.
Kayla.
Drew, I've got Bravo 7 counterclockwise 2 set. I think if I understood the procedure correctly, I can break torque now and then stand by for Tom's go to continue.
Yeah, Kayla, those are good settings, and you have a go to brake torque, 1 turn only.
Okay, brake torque, 1 turn only.
You can hear now that the astronauts Tom Marshburn and Kayla Barron will be working together on this step. Marshburn will tether the SASA before it's set completely free with the release of the stanchion bolt that Barron is removing. This is the one that attaches the antenna unit to the P1 truss structure. The view you see here live on your screen is Kayla Barron retrieving her pistol grip tool and configuring it to break torque on that stanchion bolt that attaches the degraded SASA to the space station.
Drew, I believe torque is broken 1 turn. I just want to confirm I was fully seated on the bolt. A little hard to tell because it's in the, I'm stanching out pretty deep there. Checking the PGT steps. Yep, and torque is broken, Drew.
Copy that,
I
Kayla.
was on it originally.
Yeah, Kayla, if you had experienced any running torque at all, we expected that you broke torque if you're experiencing some running torque.
And I'm just standing by for Tom's go to continue turn.
Copy that.
Just wrapping up. All right, Joe gas is complete, and we are ready for maneuver to GCA to publish P1 retrieval position.
And I am also ready for the maneuver to publish.
You give us just a second to set up the maneuver, and we'll let you know when motion starts.
Copy.
All right, Tom, there'll be 3 moves here. We're going to take in nadir, and then starboard, and then forward.
Sounds good.
And starting with 2 meters nadir.
All right, Kayla, ready for the GCA?
I'm ready.
All right, ready for GCA to publish.
Here we go.
Motion.
And Tom, with the nighttime and the camera views, we don't have the best clearance of your head in the, so just obviously keep us informed.
Will do.
Here's nadir left. Here comes a little bit of starboard motion.
Copy. Motion.
Okay, and then here comes a meter ISS forward.
Copy.
Yeah, sorry.
Marshburn gave Kayla Barron the go to release the stanchion bolt that she was working on releasing with her pistol grip tool, meaning that Tom Marshburn confirms that he has a grasp on the degraded SASA and it's tethered correctly. Meanwhile, the astronauts aboard the International Space Station gave a go that they're ready to move the robotic arm.
And stop motion.
Okay, stopping motion about 30 centimeters short of published.
All right, when you get brakes on, I'll ret to it.
Hey, brakes are on, GCA complete. And you're go for P1 SAS retrieval.
Copy. All right, I've got a ret to the handrails of the RFG. And I have 2 hands on it.
Roger. Bye.
I am ready if everybody's ready for either the final torque.
All right, Tom, if you and Kayla are good,
Suspension mount bolt.
you have a go to release. We're expecting about 18 turns. We want you to maintain some pressure on that bolt head.
Roger. Adjust my body position a little bit here. Starting turn. It's 9 turns, and I'm just gonna readjust the.
Kayla, we were just going to have you double check your PGT settings. It looks like we might be a little higher counterclockwise speed right now.
Yep, I think it got knocked into counter 3. Back in counter 2 now.
All right, that's a good check.
The degraded unit is in a position known as a soft dock. It's connected to the space station, but only that stanchion bolt is keeping it in place. Kayla Barron is working to remove it.
7 minutes.
The next step in the procedures after this is accomplished is to move it over to the Express Logistics Carrier number 3 and temporarily stow it using a rigid tether that Kayla Barron had installed earlier in the SpaceWalk.
Drew, could you say again total turns I'm looking for here?
We're expecting about 18.
Roger. There's 18. Did it spring out?
We do expect it to spring up.
A little light tug.
Roger. That count could be a little off, Drew, because it's kind of difficult to tell if it's fully seated. But I'm going to get it back on there and then some more turns.
Yep, go ahead with some additional turns.
Okay, it is released. Keys removed. I'm going to stow that. And then give me a chance to just reposition myself, Tom.
Okay. Just have light touch both hands.
All right, that's... Kayla, that sounds good, and we're just going to have you pull axially as close as you can to the center of gravity down there, and light touch from Tom, as he's already commented.
Copy.
Tom, could you please pull it away from the stanchion mount? It looks pretty straight.
Coming a little way. I think I got arm motion, not stanchion motion.
The gap's increasing.
Okay, I'm going to continue to pull.
Yep, keep going.
Pulling.
It might be side-loaded.
Okay, I'm going to pull it, rock it a little bit towards me.
Yep, that's looking great.
Okay,
It's
now.
removed.
It's removed. I have 2 hands on a ret on a free degraded SASA.
Great
Tom.
news.
Oh, nice. Teamwork.
The degraded SASA is now officially free from the International Space Station.
Happy your go for the maneuver to ELC-3 temp stow back off position. Brakes are
ready
coming
for
off.
maneuver. Copy.
They just got the go to move it over to the Express Logistics Carrier number 3. It will ride along the robotic arm with Tom Marshburn to the work site.
Feel the need to restrain the NZGL. The corridor is clear.
Copy that. No wire tie needed, and then we'll meet you out at ALC 3.
Roger, heading that way now.
I'm taking a look at you real quick, Kayla, since we won't see each other for 7 minutes. We have a chance.
I see you. Holding it faster.
With each other really looks good.
Thanks. Heading out for it. I'll see you out there, Tom.
Yep, see you in about 7 minutes.
Enjoy the ride.
All right, Tom, you ready for motion?
Ready for motion.
We'll start in GCA. It's going to be about 1.5 meters aft, little port, and then 2 meters in, kind of back to where you started from a little bit ago.
Copy.
Start in motion, aft.
Good motion.
And 7 meters go. We're going to take you about 15 centimeters port.
Copy.
And then about 2 meters unit.
Copy. And I'm seeing good motion all around.
You're getting now the helmet camera views of NASA astronaut Kayla Barron as she translates back to the Express Logistics Carrier number 3. Astronaut Tom Marshburn is taking the express route over to the work site. He's taking the robotic arm while carrying the degraded SASA that the two of them just worked together to break free.
And guys, the sun will be coming up, and we're about 50 minutes ahead on the timeline.
Roger.
Tom, this is going to be about a 7-minute long JOCAS. It's going to be course motion.
Copy.
Mostly port motion to take you over towards ELC 3.
Copy all.
Both astronauts are making their way out to the next workstation, the Express Logistics Carrier 3. Their next task is to temporarily stow the degraded SASA. They're going to put it on a rigid tether that Kayla Barron had installed earlier. This task is expected to take about 25 minutes. However, our two spacewalking astronauts are making great time.
a third of the way through the move.
Copy.
They reported that they're a third of the way over to the work site, and as they make their way over, I'm going to take a question from Twitter. We have a question from Shazzy, who asks, are they always hooked connected to the ISS during spacewalk? That's a great question, and the answer is yes, they are always tethered to the space station. You may often hear the Capcom or the ground IV working with the astronauts working on tether configurations. For instance, earlier, Tom Marshburn had to get his tethers from the space station and onto the robotic arm. However, in the unlikely event that they become untethered, Marshburn and Barron both have SAFER units on. SAFER is a shorter way of saying Simplified Aid for EVA Rescue. If you're familiar with the jetpack, the SAFERs are not too far off. They're worn during spacewalks as a precaution only, and they're only used if an astronaut were to become untethered from the space station. In this unlikely situation, the astronaut would use their SAFER to propel themselves back to the space station, just like a jetpack.
See you there. Getting the side all nice and prepped. The clamshell in the line's gone.
You gonna about the clamshell, Tom?
I can just see that it's off.
Yep, it is.
Yep. It's work down there. Coming in over your right shoulder.
Hey, Kayla, we've got a photo request for you.
Yes, sir.
At a time that you think makes the most sense, we'd like you to get a photo of Bolt 4, gimbal Bolt 4, that was not in the exact configuration we expected. And if you wouldn't mind, at any point, whether that's as Tom's flying in or while he's working his mass bolts, anytime, not absolutely required, but it'll be helpful if you can.
You just heard the voice of NASA astronaut Kayla Barron. It will be her first spacewalk, while Tom Marshburn is on his his fifth. Marshburn's first 3 spacewalks took place over the course of the 15-day STS-127 mission back in 2009. The mission saw the delivery of the Japanese-built exposed facility and the experiment logistics module exposed section to the space station. The 4th spacewalk of his career occurred in 2013 when Marshburn worked with Chris Cassidy to mitigate an ammonia coolant leak.
You're in position hold. We're setting up here, and we'll be ready to maneuver to GCA to publish for the SAS attempt stow position.
Copy. Kayla, do you want me to hold it up to you for a picture or just wait till later?
Is it currently
On your
gimbal
side.
4 on my side? Yeah, let me give it a shot. Yeah.
And Tom, we're loaded up, so just let us know when you're ready.
Okay. Ready for the GCA to publish.
And starting GCA will be about 2.5 meters later.
Copy.
Not sure if I got it there.
I'm going to get a little closer to you right now.
Good motion.
Good motion.
And Kayla, Tom, just confirm you're clearing the high gain antenna from the EL23.
And Tom can confirm I am.
Okay, thanks.
Got it tended forward.
1 meter to go.
Continue. Stop motion.
You can confirm stop motion?
Stop motion.
Stop motion, about 30 centimeters short of the published.
What do you think, Kayla? I think we're good.
I think we can get it on.
Okay.
Feel comfortable.
All right, in GCA.
Copy, GCA complete.
And I can hold it up so you can get that picture right now if you'd like.
Okay.
Or before we pop it in.
Say again.
I can turn the high gain around to you for a picture if you'd like now, or
Okay.
do it later. All right?
Yeah, let's do it now.
Okay. A little closer for you than that last one. Tell me when you're good.
Watch the high gain antenna on the spare over here. You're a little close.
Copy.
And mutts in the way, and I don't really want to move it too much.
All right, we can just do it later.
Stand by.
Okay. I can rotate it that way if you like.
That's good. Stay right there. All right. Yeah, I think I got several pictures of it there.
Okay.
It's the one closest to the high gain antenna, correct?
Yeah, there's two of them, and the one closest to the high gain, that's a bird.
I got photos.
Okay. I'm handing it over to you.
Please keep control for now,
I am.
and
Control.
you can rotate the handrail toward the up. And let's see.
It'll lift this end up.
Yeah. Tom, if you could just rotate it so that
That one.
RFG facing up. There you go.
I see.
And we're almost in there. Just need to straighten out. And if you could lift your end up.
Work.
And but further, your end needs to go toward forward and up a little bit.
That.
That's looking pretty good. The jaws aren't fully, the pedals aren't fully popped out. There they go. And I'll lock them now. And let me put my RET on it.
All right, I still have a hand on it. No ret.
Roger. All right, I've got an independent RET. It's a large, small RET from the handrail of the degraded SASA to the ELC3 grid, and paddles are jaws closed, paddles out, and locked. So you have to go to remove your Tom.
Copy. Feels really stable on there. And I'm going to have to go, let's see, Matthias Raspberry, I'm going to need head up about 10 centimeters. Okay, good clearance.
The SASA is just above your helmet now, Tom. You may need to lean back.
Stand by.
The racer coming off, and you're in a body frame now, and you want 10 centimeters head up.
Body frame is affirmed. Got good clearance and 10 centimeter heads up.
Copy, starting motion.
Good motion. And stop motion.
Stopping motion.
Waiting for brakes on.
You're hearing the voices of Tom Marshburn and Kayla Barron, and as Tom communicates to the operators of the robotic arm, Matthias Maurer and his backup Rajachari, he's giving commands so he can hand off the degraded SASA to Kayla Barron, who will work to stow the SASA on the Express Logistics carrier.
to the spare site.
Be ready for.
We're in a brief but expected handover period between satellites right now, getting a live view of mission control in Houston.
First, we're going to take out. We give you 10 centimeters body down.
Copy. Good motion.
Okay, next we're going to give you a meter body left.
Copy.
There has been a lot of back and forth between the work sites. Kayla Barron first starting off in her original position coming out of the Quest airlock, heading over to the Express Logistics Carrier 3. She then went back to the P1 truss where Tom Marshburn was to help remove the degraded SASA. They've both now gone back to the Express Logistics Carrier where they're stowing the degraded SASA. Fortunately for their next step, they're going to stay here at the Express Logistics Carrier and retrieve the spare. If you remember earlier, Kayla Barron did a lot of tasks to get ahead on this activity.
10 centimeters. Wrapping out. Okay, that's the pelvis position. How's that look?
I'm going to need looking maybe another 10 centimeters. Well, actually, let's stick with the body forward, 20 centimeters. Got good clearance.
That'll be 20 centimeters body forward, moving.
Ingress is clear. Motion.
All right, there's 20 centimeters.
It looks good. And then GCA.
GCA complete. Brakes are on.
Copy. Drew, I'm here at the site. I believe I got to get rid of these pit fins.
Yeah, good words. Tom, I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. First of all, tremendous choreography right up through this point. You guys right now are about an hour ahead of the timeline. The limited consumable is still MEDOX about 7 hours, so plenty of time. We would like to get a glove and hat check from both of you. And then, yes, we're going to start working the shirt and scarf.
BD1, half is dry. Gloves remain pristine, unchanged from dress.
And my half is dry. My gloves look good. I do have some black smudges on my fingertips. I'm trying to hold it up to my camera for you.
We're checking Kayla.
Seeing that? Okay. Got a good view.
We're going to continue, Kayla. We see them, and we are good with that.
Okay. And Tom, I see you found the tether.
It did.
We're now approaching the 2-hour mark out of our planned 6.5-hour spacewalk. NASA astronauts Tom Marshburn and Kayla Barron working diligently on their task of replacing a degraded communications antenna system. They're now about an hour ahead of schedule. The SASA, or S-band antenna subassembly, is used to transmit.
I'm sure I can reach that.
Is the shirt and scarf both tethered, Tom?
No, the scarf is not. I see tether points over on your side. It's like they're rotated from what we expected a bit.
Okay. you want to pass the adjustable through to me?
Yes, we can work that.
I just can't. I got to be careful because we got the low gain antenna near me.
Yeah. Might need a GCA to get to you.
Just try kind of passing it, like let it float.
Yeah.
It might have a red on it, I think.
Yeah.
If you remove your red, I would probably be able to get it, Tom.
Okay.
This antenna is used to transmit low-rate voice and data between the space station with the flight controllers on the ground here in Houston using S-band radio frequencies.
I'm just going to take a second to make sure the ret cord. This ret appears to be locked out, Tom. Is that intentional?
It was. It was helping me out a lot.
I want to consider unlocking it once I get this on here. My worry is that it could snarl.
Yeah, I'm going to send it out here, keep it straight.
And did you remove it from the tether point?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to get over there, at least to be able to throw it to you.
All right, stand by. I'm going to need to use hands probably.
I can always GCA again to get in there.
Barron and Marshburn now communicating back and forth, working on the best way to stow the degraded SASA to the Express Logistics Carrier 3. This degraded SASA was on the P1 Trust, and it got moved here to the space station's Express Logistics Carrier.
All right. Why don't I try to GCA in there?
I can get it, Tom. I'm just going to need to put a BRT down, I think.
Okay.
Just because I need two hands in order to prevent the tether from moving, and I don't want to run into the low-gain antenna. It's just off to my side. Okay, and if you could turn the tether back toward me, please. The scarf is now tethered, and are you able to reach a tether point on your side?
I am. Now, I'm not. The tether point that was in the picture, I'd like to make absolutely sure that it's not another. If we could confirm there's only two tether points for the scarf.
My vantage point, that one right in front of you, looks like it's on the shirt.
I think it is two. Its connection point, though, was covered by an MLI flap. We go back over to the...
Com check with you.
Tom, we think that there are two tether points on the scarf.
And just two. Okay. Then we have both the shirt and the scarf tethered at this point.
Tom, if you could just stand by for 1 second.
Got me. Not working against you.
Because of the way the tether is now routed, we're just going to have to slide the scarf off the end of the high gain antenna.
The shirt and scarf you hear them referring to is basically a thermal blanket covering the bulk of the communication system and its skinnier neck.
You need to release the Velcro on your side, and then we'll just slide it off forward. And then it will be clear.
Okay. There we go.
Clear, Tom?
Not yet. There we go.
All right. Scarf is removed.
Turn on the shirt. And I'm working a little too far away from the SAS, so I'm going to ask for another GCA if I can take the comm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Matthias, Roger. Need a GCA to get a little closer.
Where do you want to go?
All right, I want to go body up 10, 20 centimeters and pitch down about 30 degrees. Pitch forward 30 degrees.
The body up 10 centimeters and then pitch forward 30 degrees.
Good copy.
Here comes the body up motion.
Pretty good motion.
Oh, yeah, here comes pitch forward.
And stand by.
Standing by.
Give me another 10 centimeters body up.
Another 10 centimeters body up.
Good
Starting motion.
Pretty good motion. And stop motion.
Stopping motion. And then here comes the pitch forward.
Don't need to pitch forward. This is good. So hold off on the pitch forward and end GCA.
Stay complete. Brakes are on.
All right. I'm going to pull the MLI away from you as you back out. Like you're all clear?
Yep.
I can hold the MLI away here if you want to go get the large hook.
Just stand by one, Tom.
Okay.
I think there's still some Velcro attached on my side that I'd like to release.
Copy. And I can ret to it if you want me to hold it out of the way and you just move the large hook over.
Yeah, that would work once you get it off.
Okay. I'm ready to the whole thing. And I'm just going to gather it up, put it out of your way once you get that last MLI off.
I understand how it's routed on this side, so I can get it out to you. And I think that was the last little piece there.
Looks like it. Yeah, I've got a good hand on it. Before we sock in your workspace, if you want to move that over, and I am ready to do it as well.
1 second to reconfigure things a bit over here.
No worries. Looks like a face full.
I'm grateful we're not trying to put that back on. It's a lot of Velcro. Very specific places.
Barron and Marshburn had worked to temporarily store the failed SASA right at their current work site. They'll come back once they've installed the new unit to do a more permanent stow of the degraded SASA. They're working on their first task to retrieve the spare SASA. That will be removed and taken over to the P1 truss. The first step of that is removing some of the thermal protection.
Looks very nice.
Tom, I'm just going to take a second to put down my BRT.
Sounds good.
So I have two hands when I'm trying to pack.
Yeah, get yourself all set. I'm going to, once you're good and I let go of this, I'm going to, let's see, ask for another TCA to get the launch bolts.
I should be ready in just a few
And,
moments here.
And Drew, could you confirm once Kayla's stuff in the MLI, I can start setting up to release the launch bolts on my side?
Yeah, Tom, we want you to get in a good arm position for that, and then we'll configure your PGT with the ERAD whenever you're ready.
Copy.
I'm working the large hook now, Tom.
Okay.
Marshburn just communicated with Ground IV Drew Morgan that he's ready to configure his ERAD, or Enhanced Right Angle Drive. This is a tool that is used because the bolts are not necessarily in an easy position to get to.
Hook attached to the medium yellow U-ride, you have a go to release your tether.
Stay in work.
He has 2 launch bolts that he'll be working to release.
Okay, it is released. I'll come on over to you.
Roger.
And if I can take the comm for a moment, I'm going to GCA.
Yep, you have a go to take the comm.
Copy.
And this is still locked out.
And on the PS and Roger. Ready for a GCA, body down.
Copy, body down. Do you want to go back to where you were?
That's a good copy, and hey, firm, I really need body down 20 centimeters.
All right, 20 centimeters body down. Starting motion.
Good copy. Good motion. In stop motion.
Copy motion.
In GCA.
GCA complete. Brakes are on.
Copy. Going for my ERAD.
Copy, Tom, and understand that you're now in a good position. You can go ahead and configure your PGT. I'll give you settings when you're all set up.
Okay, copy. I'm getting out my ERAD right now.
Ground IV Drew Morgan getting ready to give Tom Marshburn some heads up on tool configuration, giving him the settings for his pistol grip tool to get ready to release 2 launch bolts.
I'm grateful we put the adjustable in the bottom of the bag. Definitely helping me out. And I'm just working on trying to get it all in here.
NASA astronaut Kayla Barron worked slightly ahead of time. When she was at the Express Logistics carrier the first time, she did some of the tasks needed to retrieve the spare SASA. This is a task they're both working on right now, but she did some of the tasks ahead of time.
My 6-inch wobble is on my 210 on my right adjustable with a good full test.
Copy.
The S-band antenna subassembly, or SASA, went down last September with a failed return link. This means that Mission Control was able to send data up to the space station, but the antenna lost its ability to send signals back to Earth through NASA's Tracking and Data Relay satellite system. Because the space station has so many built-in redundancies, we are still able to communicate with the International Space Station from the ground, even without the SASA. The station also has high-rate Ku band uplink and downlink capability that relays video, and the station has other low-rate S-band systems as well. This is the first spacewalk to replace the SASA since Joe Tanner and Heidi Stefanovichin Piper replaced the SASA on the S-1 Trust during the STS-115 mission on September 16, 2006.
May you rise on my PGT with a good full test.
Copy, Tom. We're going to configure your PGT to Bravo 4 counterclockwise, too.
As Tom Marshburn gets his tools set up, you can see views of the Earth peeking through the right side of your screen. The International Space Station just is crossing over the ocean at the moment, right off the coast of Brazil.
And I've got the shirt and scarf sewed in the medium ORU bag. That adjustable across the bottom was a game changer, so excellent suggestion, Tom.
Awesome.
Very nice work, Kayla. I know how tough this can be sometimes. And at the end of the day, we are going to be able to bundle crew lock bag and the medium ORU bag if you prefer. So just keep that in mind in the event that when you go back to restow, the muckball stack is there. But it looks like you're going to have plenty of room.
It's looking pretty good. I would say it's taken up about the bottom half of the bag.
Andrew, say again, settings, I'm in Bravo.
Bravo 4, counterclockwise 2.
Bravo 4, counterclockwise 2, verified.
Okay, those are good settings. You're going to work the forward and the aft bolts. If you're counting at the PGT, we're expecting 11 to 19 turns.
11 to 19 turns at the PGT.
Good readback. And just let us know what bolt you're working first.
I'm working the nadir bolt on my side, on the inside.
Copy that.
Starting. All right.
NASA astronaut Tom Marshburn now working to release 2 launch bolts. This is an activity he was originally going to do with Kayla Barron. However, she was able to get the launch bolts off earlier in the spacewalk. She's getting ready to work on some mast bolts. Removing these mast bolts will release the spare SASA.
19 turns. And this is until it pops out, correct? I don't expect the torque.
Yep, but we're going to pop out. We expect it to spring out. Kayla's all took a little more than 20 turns.
Okay. It's not springy, but it did come up. So I'm going to put in some more turns.
And I've
Sounds
been
good.
working on getting in a good position for the fast bolts. I've got Bravo 2, counterclockwise 2 steps. I'll stand by for go to drive those.
Those are good settings, Kayla.
It's advantageous that Kayla Barron got to work on releasing her launch bolts ahead of time. As it turns out, it took one more turn than expected on the pistol grip tool. The ground IV Drew Morgan was able to communicate that with Tom Marshburn, who's working on his now.
And top
Copy.
5.5 to 9 turns.
And Drew, the mander bolt on the zenith side is out in springing. It was 24 turns. Torque was 8, maximum torque.
Marshburn is now halfway done releasing the launch bolts of the spare SASA.
On that first one.
Happy working the second one. Would be the zenith one on the zenith side.
Copy that.
Drew, the forward zenith gas bolt is released, and that was 9 turns.
Copy, 9 turns on the zenith.
Barron confirming that she is halfway done undoing the 2 mast bolts that she has, while Tom Marshburn has released one of the 2 launch bolts that he's working on.
Kayla, can I just go ahead and get a glove and hat and a safer check from you?
I can tell you now my half is dry. I'm going to wait on gloves and safer until after the bolt because I'm already in a good position with my hands full.
That works.
And, all right. And Drew, that was 24 turns. Popped out. And 10 was the highest torque there.
Okay, copy that, Tom. And so now you can stow the ERAD, reconfigure your PGT, just give us those pool tests.
Copy.
And then ultimately you'll put that PGT away, and then we'll go through your checklist before we have you get in position to grasp the spare SASA.
Copy.
Tom Marshburn confirming that he has finished releasing the 2 launch bolts that he was working on the spare SASA. He got direction from his ground IV, Drew Morgan, who gave him the direction to configure his tools and ultimately stow them away. With these steps complete, we're almost ready to remove the spare SASA and move it over to the P1 truss.
Question for you.
Go ahead.
Looks like on the plates that the RFG is mounted to, on the opposite side of the RFG, there's an MLI, a piece of MLI. Is that supposed to be there, or was that supposed to be removed?
Kayla, that's expected to be there, doesn't need to be removed.
Okay. Confirming. One area of the Velcro got removed. I pulled it off inadvertently, thinking it was part of the other MLI, but it's reinstalled.
Nope, but good check.
I can report a good glove check, no delta, and a good saber handle check, both sides.
All right, perfect. Thanks for checking.
Your ad is back on the socket caddy with a good full test.
Copy that, Tom.
And the 6 inch is back on the PGT with a good full test.
Okay, copy, Tom. We'll get that socket caddy stowed and the PGT stowed, and then we'll go through your pre-SASA grasp checklist.
Nothing. You need to clean up my crew lock bag just a second for the trip home. Back. All right.
All right, looks like you got everything put away there, Tom.
Back is in a good position. I say firm.
Okay, well, first thing we're going to...
We'll need another GCA to get firmly onto the G.
Yeah, Tom, I think we'll have you go ahead with that little GCA, and then we'll go through your checklist.
Okay, copy that. I want to be able to help lift up. So, Matthias Raza, I'll take body up in centimeters, 20 centimeters.
20 centimeters body up.
Good copy.
Brakes are off. Starting motion, body up.
Motion. You need stop motion.
Motion stops. You ready for brakes?
And body left 20 centimeters.
Left 20 centimeters.
Copy.
There's motion.
Good motion.
Wrapping out.
All right, stop motion.
Okay, motion stops.
8 in GCA.
Okay, complete. Brakes are on.
Has the 40 get maximum leverage?
For those of you just tuning in, we're just about 2.5 hours into the SpaceWalk with NASA astronauts Tom Marshburn and Caleb Barron.
Hold in close to you. Adjust your visor as you need to. Sunset will be coming.
It's Caleb Barron's first spacewalk of her career, and the duo is working to replace a faulty S-band antenna subassembly, or SASA, with a spare already aboard the station.
Copy that.
Clear. Others are clear.
And then if your heaters are set and your cooling is good, then you can go ahead and ret to the handrail there.
Complete.
5:15 a.m. Central Time, 6:15 a.m. Eastern is the official start time of this spacewalk, marking the beginning of the 245th spacewalk in support of space station assembly and maintenance.
I'm still in Bravo 2, counterclockwise 2.
Good settings. 5.5 to 9 turns to release.
Up here a little bit further.
The SASA went down last September with a failed return link, meaning that Mission Control can send data up, but the antenna lost its ability to send signals back to Earth through NASA's Tracking and Data Relay Satellite System, or TDRS. Fortunately, due to some redundancies on the station, we're still able to communicate with the International Space Station on the ground, even without the SASA.
It's torquing out at this setting.
Copy, checking.
We found out about this faulty system back in mid-September, and it was actually really advantageous for us because it meant Kayla Barron and Tom Mershburn hadn't launched to the space station yet. They had time to train in NASA's Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory here and NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. It's a large pool that astronauts use to train for their spacewalks on the ground.
Current setting is Bravo 7.
Negative, Bravo 2.
Bravo 2, okay.
All right, Kayla, we're going to reset your PGT to Bravo 7 counterclockwise 2.
Roger. Change my body position a little bit to support the higher torque.
Kayla, our apologies. We are going to attempt one more time at Bravo 2. I apologize for that. And we want to make sure that your hand location there, that you're hanging onto a FRAM handrail and clear the NZGLs.
I was not hanging on to any handrail. I got my BRT down and I had my left hand on my BRT while driving.
Okay, copy. That sounds like a good configuration. And we'll do Bravo 2 counterclockwise 2, and we have a handover in about a minute.
Turn. And it torqued out, but also slid off the bolt head, so I'll try again. I come down and just make an adjustment here, Tom.
Okay.
Okay, Kayla.
Hand in there to help hold that on. Go ahead, Drew.
Hey, Kayla, now we are going to reset to Bravo 7 counterclockwise 2, and we're going to try one turn only, and we have a handover in less than a minute.
Roger. I'm in Bravo 7 counterclockwise 2 and understand one turn only at the settings.
Good read back. We'll catch you on the other side.
Need to move my BRT.
Okay. I can hold your PGT if you want.
That's all right. Just want to make sure I'm in a good position for the higher torque.
Okay.
The spacewalkers here so far are about an hour ahead of schedule. So far, they've completed tasks like getting the degraded SASA, removing it from the P1 truss, and moving it over to the Express Logistics Carrier number 3. They've temporarily stowed it using a rigid tether that Kayla Barron had installed earlier during the spacewalk. They're both now back at the Express Logistics Carrier 3 to remove the spare SASA.
And I'll also not touch the FG at all.
Okay, guys, we're back with you after the handover. How'd we do?
It looks like about one turn to me. What do you think, Tom?
I saw some movement there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
there we go.
torque is broken.
Definitely broken, yep. Still had to reposition, but looks like we got a good turn on it.
Okay, Kayla, we're back with you, and we're going to reset now to Bravo 2 counterclockwise 2.
Bravo 2 counterclockwise 2 is set.
Fortunately, when the SASA went down back in September, a spare was already aboard the International Space Station on the Express Logistics carrier. A new part did not have to be launched to them.
10 turns. And it popped out around
Look at that. It's out of the soft back as well.
There's no soft
We
back
see
there.
it.
Just
That looks good.
Then.
Is out. Good job.
Thank you.
And if you want, I can check your safer handles. I can just take a look.
I did feel them a couple minutes ago, but
I'll just check up.
take a look if you can see them.
If you grab something and pull your head down a little bit, I'll probably be able to see them. But if you're confident you got them, then, or maybe just roll one way. Okay, your left is down. If you roll to your left,
I'll pick up my BRT here, Tom, and then I'll have more freedom of movement.
just to get a good look over. Then I'll be ready for the maneuver. I'm going to press your PGT a little closer to you so it doesn't hang on anything. And safer handles are down. They're good.
And Tom and Kayla, we have one check for you on the RFG box.
Departing, then copy.
If you would, Kayla, if you're able to see the RFG box, then just check the NZGLs on what was on Kayla's left side of the NZGL, the RFG box, the NZGLs located there, if they look like they're mated or still.
They are mated full forward over center.
And on my side, I see the same.
All right, those are good checks.
Drew, if that's next on the checklist, I'm ready for the maneuver.
Your go for the maneuver. You on the comm, and for Kayla, we're going to meet you back at the install location.
You're heading that way now?
Hey, Matthias, Roger, ready for the maneuver.
Sounds good, Tom. We're going to undo what we did here with some of the GCA first. So we're going to take you right, down, and then aft, and then we'll set up the manual back-off maneuver. So taking you 20 centimeters body right first.
Okay, copy.
Sorry, I'm going to take your body out first, aft.
Body out.
Spacewalking astronauts Kayla Barron and Tom Marshburn have just finished retrieving the spare SASA from the Express Logistics carrier.
Wrap it out.
Barron will now make her way back to the P1 SASA work site.
Motion.
Okay, and then 20 centimeters body down.
That is clear of all structure.
Okay. All right, we're going to set up, we're going to change it back to the ISAX frame, and then we'll get the next maneuver going.
Copy. Ready for the maneuver.
NASA astronaut Tom Marshburn will be the one that will take the spare SASA over to the P1 truss. Fortunately, he's got a ride with him. He's going to be taking the robotic arm under the direction of NASA astronaut Matthias Maurer and his backup Rajachari. Over the next few steps, they're going to install the spare SASA onto the P1. This is the same location where they took away the degraded SASA, and now they're putting a spare in its place. Everything from here on out will pretty much be the steps of removing the degraded SASA in reverse. This involves NASA astronaut Caleb Barron mating some cables.
About 3 meters zenith motion.
Copy. Motion.
She'll have 3 cables to attach to the spare, one that does data, one connecting heater power, and the other connecting operational power.
Setting up the zenith edge of the truss right now.
Copy.
Meter go.
On your screen now are live views of Tom Marshburn moving on the robotic arm of the International Space Station carrying the spare SASA.
Ramping out.
As Caleb Barron moves to the P1 work site and Tom Marshburn hitches a ride over there on the robotic arm, the International Space Station is flying over Kazakhstan.
See ya, Caleb, back almost at the FPMU.
Hey, Tom, here comes the joke ass, about 7 minutes long. It's going to take you back mostly starboard, back to a place you've been before.
Ready.
As the astronauts make their way over to the work site, we can take some questions. We solicited some questions on our Instagram at NASA Johnson, and we can go through a couple of those. The first one comes from Adam, who asked, what truss is the antenna on? Well, the truss is going to be installed on the P1 truss. This is where the degraded unit is and where the spare is going to be installed shortly. The spare was kept on the Express Logistics Carrier 3, which is located on the P3 truss of the International Space Station. Another Instagram user asks, does one feel the cold from the outside and the heat from the sun? This is referring to when we're in an orbital nighttime and daytime. There's fluctuations in temperature. It's true that they can feel the difference, and they take precautions like lowering and rising their visor, as you may have heard Ground IV Drew Morgan talking about or advising them to do. They also have mechanisms built into their spacesuits. They wear garments underneath to help with temperature regulation, and the suits themselves are designed to keep the astronauts at a stable temperature.
You doing, Tom?
Doing good. Holding on to it faster.
Another Instagram user asks, what is on your pre-spacewalk playlist? And while unfortunately our spacewalkers Tom Marshburn and Caleb Barron haven't clued us into what they were listening to beforehand, we do know that on their launch day, they listened to bands such as Guns N' Roses, Eminem, Nicki Minaj, Imagine Dragons, and so forth. We've got another question from Instagram user Fiona Daly, who wants to know how long is the spacewalk? Well, the spacewalk is planned for 6.5 hours. However, the astronauts are speeding through their tasks. They're accomplishing everything in great time. Another user asked, how much time does it take to prepare for a spacewalk? We talked about the advantage that Tom Marshburn and Caleb Barron had to find out that the degraded unit had happened before they left the ground so they could train into the neutral buoyancy laboratory.
For the stanchion, and I got myself a pretty good mounting.
However, the crew did get to prep while in orbit. All 5 astronauts of the USOS side, Marshburn, Barron, Vandehei, Chari, and Maurer, have been studying the steps of the spacewalk, along with the tool configurations and any precautions they should be aware of for the past week. Barron and Marshburn specifically, our spacewalkers today, prepared the equipment lock in the days leading up to today's spacewalk, doing tasks like getting their checklists and drinking water ready and inspecting each of their tools. This is all part of some preparations they did before the spacewalk. It also included some onboard verification fit checks where they tried on their spacesuits and made sure that they're comfortable and easy to move around.
Hey guys, just wanted to check back in with you. We're less than a minute away from a handover.
Drew, thanks.
Roger.
One Instagram user wants to know how the spacewalk was practiced on Earth. We briefly mentioned the neutral buoyancy laboratory. Inside this giant pool is a giant mock-up of the International Space Station. To scale, the astronauts have a chance to go fully suited underwater in an environment that simulates the environment of space.
You coming in my peripheral vision?
I am.
During this handover